Today we're gonna make a banh mi with some lemongrass grilled chicken. The marinade takes about 5 or 10 minutes to throw together. You can throw it in the fridge and then come back for a quick weeknight meal. I can't wait to dive into this thing, so let's cook. Okay, so very simple marinade. These are gonna be the 2 core aromatics. Obviously, lemongrass chicken, so we need a bunch of lemongrass. Then I'm just gonna use a shallot. You could use garlic, onion, whatever you want. And then I'm kind of just gonna finish this out with a couple of, honestly, bottles of stuff I need to use up. So soy sauce, salty. I've had this ponzu forever. I'm just trying to get through it. We'll do a little bit of fish sauce, and then a little bit of chili flake too. And I've got like maybe a little bit of sugar we'll throw in. But really, marinades, I feel like, are one of those good dishes where you can kind of just use up ingredients, throw it over some chicken, some steak, whatever. It's all probably gonna be, fine. What I like to do is kind of anchor it with a couple of core aromatics. So in this case, it's gonna be our lemongrass. And this lemongrass it feels a little dried out. So I think what I'm gonna do is actually just end up blending this. I'll kind of cut it first, but then blend it. Man, it smells so good. And really, lemongrass, I want to make a lot of more dishes with lemongrass because every time I use it, I love it more and more. I think in the beef rendang video on this channel, we used it, and it's just such a good aroma. Oh, dishwasher's done. Forgot I started that. Let me open this dishwasher so it stops beeping. And when it comes to like aromatics like this, again, I think unless you have a specific dish, like another dish for the lemongrass you bought, I would just use a bunch of it. In this case, I'll probably use most of this. I actually might save it and mess around with something later this week. So I actually will, I think, save this little bit. And then I'm just gonna chop this shallot into chunks a little bit. Finally sharpen this knife, which is nice. So we're gonna peel the outer layers. Hopper's getting some sniffs in. He smells the lemongrass and shallot. Don't think he would actually eat them, but he smells them. Okay, and then for this, I'll just weigh it out roughly. I mean, I'm kind of just trying to use up the bottles, honestly. And it'll all even out. So, I mean, that's just one shallot, 30-some grams, 35 grams of shallot. That was about 1 stalk of that, so 20 grams. And then we'll add in, I've got probably about 1 pound of chicken breast, so I need to make a decent bit here. Honestly, we're just gonna use the jar, 25 grams of that. Do maybe 10 grams of fish sauce. I don't want this to be very fish sauce forward. You could skip this too and just use all soy sauce. Doesn't really matter. And then this is gonna be sour. It's gonna be our ponzu, ginger ponzu, a little bit more aromatic in there as well. So we'll do 20 grams of that. And then for a bit of sweetness, I'm just gonna add in some sugar. We'll do 10 grams of sugar. And then for just a little pop of spice, I'm gonna add, this is just what is it? Cobanero chili, apparently from Guatemala. I saw it at the grocery store and was kind of interested. Kind of fruity, spicy. So we'll do a little 2 or 3 gram sprinkle of that just for a little spice. If you had Thai chilies left, like I did from last video, that would be good in here. Really whatever you want. But we've got, again, we're building we've got the core aromatics, we've got our salty, we've got kind of our umami, we've got our sour, a little bit of sweetness. As long as you kind of balance those out with some type of ingredients, it's probably gonna be good, All right, let's see how this works. This is actually the first time I'm trying this thing out. This attachment, at least. think I'm connected. All right. Yeah, that works pretty well. Cool. And yeah, you could 100% just finely dice everything if you wanted to, do a mortar and pestle, you know, whatever you want to. It smells good. And then literally all I'm gonna do for the chicken is just thin it out a little bit. So this is just a couple of chicken breasts. Chicken thighs would probably be even better, but kind of went for the lower calorie option. So for the chicken breasts here, just kind of thin them out. Just so they're, you kind of want to turn them into a steak. Like that's how I like to think out of it. You know how like steaks are nice, flat, and even? It's like similarly the idea you're trying to do. Like breasts are just kind of bulbous and weird to cook with. So this ends up cooking to much higher temperatures, or sorry, this bottom ends up cooking to much higher temperatures than the thickest part. So if you can kind of thin it out and get rid of that, it'll cook evenly throughout, retain more juices. You also get more surface area for the marinade to hit on and the browning and all that. So there's kind of a lot of key benefits here. All right, pop this over here. And then, all right, let me just move this out of the way. I'll wash this in a second. Oh, this is just like a little liner. Like a lot of people use the, you know, like the wet towel trick to make their, you know, make it stick a little bit better if you have like a slick counter. I like using these like little liners right here. And then yeah, that's literally all there is to it. So I'm gonna pour that over top. And yeah, just making sure we're getting everything in between the layers. But yeah, that's literally gonna be it for this part. It's like, you know, 10 o'clock in the morning right now, so I'm not ready to eat. But again, marinade's just a great quick thing you can do to help you get like dinner on the table during the summer. So I'm gonna pop a lid on this, pop it in the fridge, then I'll come back and grill this. Also, I think off screen, I'm gonna make a little short form video, I think on my Instagram, just making a little pickled carrot and daikon that I'll use for the banh mi that I'm gonna make. So if you wanna see that, I'll pop up a clip, but I'm not gonna actually do it in this video, or just check out Instagram, whatever. But I'm gonna pop this in, and I'll meet you guys back here when I'm ready to cook it, probably in a few hours. Okay, so I decided to save the chicken for dinner, so we're gonna do that right now. Got this preheated, and then I've got some other couple items up here that we're gonna shift back once I'm done cooking this. But beautiful part about slicing this thin is that it should cook in just a couple of minutes. A little oil down. All right, perfect. And I guess while I'm here, so I did go ahead and make those pickled daikon and carrot. I made a little short for it that I'll probably post on like Instagram, and I might just post it on YouTube as well. Very, very simple there though. Then outside of that, I've got a little cucumber that I'm gonna cut up into pieces. I've got our cilantro. I think we'll do a little Kewpie mayo. And then for the bread, I found these like kind of just basic baguettes at the grocery store. Try to find like a lighter one if you can, not like a thicker, chewy kind of baguette. Or you could make your own, or you could put this over rice. That would be really good. You could put it over really anything. It's just gonna be great. You just need the components. But I'm gonna make a big, massive banh mi because I had a relatively small lunch, so now I'm gonna go ham at dinner. And then we're not gonna get as good a browning on this because that marinade is kind of liquidy, so it's gonna take a little bit longer for it to cook and brown. But we're not too bad. So let that come back up to temp. And then actually in the meantime, I think might as well do this prep. Okay. So you got the chicken back here, looking good. Okay. And then let's get to, so I think for this, I'm just gonna leave it as is. Just pull off the very bottom bits. Then for this cucumber, this is kind of like a waxier skin. So I'm gonna cut it off. I don't know exactly what type of cucumber this is, but the skin feels a little waxy to me and I don't feel like biting and chewing through it. And then what we're gonna do is just kind of do very thin planks. And I think those are gonna go all on the bottom. I think I'm gonna add a little chili flake to the top of that as well. I'm just gonna snack on this. Good looking baguette. Then we're gonna do a little sriracha and a little bit of Kewpie mayo. So, oh, did not mean to do that. So I think what I'm gonna do for this bottom, I'm gonna adjust that camera, is do a little bit of, just like spread some Kewpie on the bottom and then give us a drizzle of the sriracha. Okay, so kind of spread it on both sides. Give us a nice base layer. Then we'll do our sriracha. And then those will really complement each other quite well. It's like you get the umami MSG of the Kewpie mayo. and then kind of pairs well with that nice kick from the tangy hot sauce. So we'll go cucumber next. Building our sandwich. Then nice serving of our pickled carrot daikon mix. Let me check the temp of these real quick. Getting close, I'm sure. Yeah, we're about at like 145 or so. And then we've got our cilantro. And again, if you don't like the stems, I mean, you can always remove them, or if they're just feeling a little tough to cut through. But that right there is like a perfect looking vessel. We get the umami from the MSG, we get the sour, the spiciness from this, we have that fresh crunch and sourness from the pickles. You get the fresh crunch from the cucumber, but not sour, which is really nice. And then obviously just the herbaceousness of cilantro. And you could literally use that exact same flavor profile, and then, you know, you could do this into some kind of like spring roll wrap. You could do just plain rice and maybe make a little sauce with the Kewpie and the sriracha. Really, like any way you could go with this. Just whatever you know kind of have in your pantry. Actually, I'm going to keep this to slice. And I'm going to grab a piece of parchment paper as well. We'll give it a little wrap. Yeah, I think we're good on this one. That other one's a little bit thicker. So we got some nice like browning and stuff in there around the edges. And then yeah, let's. Ooh, that's hot. Hot on my hands. Whew. And yeah, super juicy, all the way cooked through. I can smell that lemongrass on it. Mmm. Dang, that's good. Wow, is that good? Okay, so let's split up our chicken here. Give us a little extra of that. Those juices. And then, I think normally they use Maggi seasoning as like a little finisher. This is liquid seasoning, very similar. Just give a little drizzle to chicken. So that's gonna give us a little that salty, juicy kick. And then I'm gonna slice this and wrap it really quickly. Try to, gotta fit everything in here. All right. And wrap it up over here. Okay. So I'm gonna let that sit for just a second. wipe down this cutting board, and I can't wait to dive into this thing. Bonus little chicken breast that I can use for another banh mi or maybe a little rice bowl. Boom, boom. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh man, this is gonna be so good. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, it is time to get into this thing. Could not be more excited. I think I said that chicken cutlet was my favorite sandwich I've made in a while. Maybe a prisoner to the moment, but now I'm thinking maybe this is the best. Like, oh. I mean, I just love sandwiches. And this one is just, it's so perfectly balanced. Like, first of all, this chicken is just so flavorful, juicy, enjoyable on its own. The lemongrass is just such a unique aromatic. Like, at least to me, it's not something I use frequently. So I need to start using it more frequently, I think is the lesson I've learned here. And then, yeah, you pair it with the crunch you get from the pickles, the freshness of that cucumber, little cilantro. The Kewpie mayo totally comes through, and then you round out with a little bit of sriracha. I mean, such a good dish. As always, recipe will be up if you want to follow it exactly, but as always, feel free to experiment with as much as you like. I'm going to have no problem crushing the rest of this, so that will wrap it up for me in this one. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace, y'all.